Good morning, afternoon, or evening, guys. My name is Impact and I'm here to deliver a highly requested video, the Support Gragas Guide. Once again, I'm going to try and make this as short as I can, while focusing on what I think are the most important things to have in mind during all stages of the game. As always, let's go through his skill list. His passive is Happy Hour and it gives you a crapload of self-sustain, especially during the laning phase. Every single time you use an ability, Gragas restores 4% of his max health. It is one of the reasons why I take Relic Shield as a starting item every single game. If trades don't go your way, you can simply pop your W or even Q and get some HP back. It's also what makes Gragas so damn resilient against poke lanes. His Q is Barrel Roll and almost everyone already knows this ability. Use it once and Gragas will throw a barrel at a target location. Use it again to make it explode, or you can just wait 4 seconds and it will detonate on its own. When it does, it'll deal magic damage to all enemies in its area, and it will slow them for 2 seconds. The slow percentage actually increases the longer the barrel is on the ground, so you can actually slow people for 150% if you let it explode on its own. Barrel Roll also gives you sight of bushes, pathings, and whatever you may want to scout. That is one use you can give it. It is also your main poke damage ability, but it does not deal a lot of damage since the change, especially if you go Relic Shield early on. Have this in mind and try not to spam it too much so you don't run out of mana too quickly. You can also use it to chase down targets, prevent them from escaping, helping your ADC push the lane, get level 2 first, proc your Relic Shield stacks, or even to slow down your target immediately after you engage on him with Body Slam. Drunken Rage is his second active skill. It no longer slows you down upon activation, but it will make you unable to use any ability or attack for 1 second. After that, you'll get damage reduction for 3 seconds, as well as increased magic damage on your next auto attack. This buff, our auto attack, will not get wasted when you clear wards, so don't worry. This is one of the reasons why Gragas gets so tanky. Drunken Rage into Body Slam, into Barrel Roll, into auto attack usually results in amazing trades if your ADC follows you up. Even if he doesn't, you should still win the trade because of the damage reduction on your W. Also, when you're getting ganked, Drunken Rage will also be amazing since it will reduce the damage dealt to you and restore 4% of your max HP thanks to your passive. Body Slam, his E ability. It's a skill shot that will make Gragas dash forward. The first enemy hit or enemy's hit will get damage knocked back. Yes, this can proc Yasuo's ultimate and stunned for 1 second. This is your escape mechanism, and it is why Gragas Engage can be so deadly. It gives you positioning, which will be absolutely key for when you decide to use your ultimate. Also, everyone has already seen what you can do with Body Slam into Flash. You can flash while flying over your enemies and leap over minions, or even change your target completely, allowing for surprise attacks. I will explain more into these strategies by the end of the guide, so make sure you stay tuned. His ultimate is Explosive Cask. Gragas will throw his cask to an area with around 400 radius, dealing magic damage to all enemies hit and knocking them back from the explosion. It will also give you vision over an area, although I don't recommend using it for that purpose. Still, it does help when you're trying to steal dragons or barons, for instance. This is the skill you'll want to use for several different purposes. You can create pickups for your team by throwing one of the enemy carries onto you, you can engage a team fight, you can disengage by knocking everyone away from you, or you can even separate backline from frontline completely, giving your team some precious extra time to peel and even deal with the tanky frontliners. Explosive Cask is somewhat like a targetable Janna ultimate. It is powerful, it can carry games by itself when well placed, but it is incredibly skill based. You'll have to practice Gragas over and over in order to get his ults right, and this is actually one of the reasons why I find Gragas so fun to play. His ult requires you to be a beast, and if you start hitting every single ult, you'll know you're doing fine. Let's go over pros. He doesn't really have any counters per se, so he's never really a bad pick. Since his Body Slam now stuns the enemy, you can easily use your W, go in, auto attack the enemy ADC once and fall back without taking too much damage, winning your trades easily. His utility snowballs really damn well. As soon as you destroy the first bottom lane turret, you can easily roam around the enemy jungle and place 3 wards that will help your team snowball the advantage. If you get caught, your passive W and Body Slam will help you get out of harm's way. His ultimate is somewhat like a targetable Janna ultimate, so you don't actually need to flash in order to make a play. He can peel well, he can engage, disengage, pick people off, or even fulfill multiple roles in the same fight. As for cons, however, his passive grants him a certain degree of self-sustain. However, he does not have a targetable sustain unless he gets Mikhail's Crucible. Therefore, it can be tricky to play against a poke-based lane. You can use his ultimate to dislocate people. However, if they have any sorts of escapes, you can easily miss your ultimate and save your enemies rather than get the pick-off. He is highly skill-based. This may be a pro for some people, but for most, it is a con. I would advise new players to actually take him for a ride for 30 to 50 normal games before venturing into the lands of solo queue. Let's go over runes. Runes are supposed to fit your playstyle, they are supposed to fit the player, so you can have these in mind, but I urge you to try a few different combinations for yourselves. Same thing goes for masteries. I've been going for magic penetration marks, flat armor quints, flat HP seals, 3 flat magic resist glyphs, and 6 scaling magic resist glyphs. They help me with the little poke that I have, as well as tankiness for when I decide to go in. As for masteries, I go for 0, 21, 9. Gragas needs to go in melee range during most matchups in the bottom lane. For that reason, he needs tankiness. I get the HP masteries as well as armor, HP regen, and crowd control effect reduction. In the utility tree, I get mana regen, summoner spell cooldown, and the Biscuiteer for more powerful potions early game. Summoner spells are highly arguable. Flash is a must because it can be used mid-body slam, and it will be invaluable against almost every single comp and matchup. The second summoner spell will be up to you. Exhaust is a great every single lane, but you may want to go for Ignite if you're sure you can get the kill, especially since Gragas has such a beast level 2. As for skill order, I max barrel roll first for poke, scouting, and all the utility that it provides. Secondly, I get Drunken Rage for the increased damage reduction. Lastly, I level up Body Slam. I'm not mentioning Explosive Cask here, but you should get it at level 6, 11, and 16. As for starting items, Gragas was used as a mid laner for a long time. Do trust me when I say this, he does not scale well with AP anymore. Seriously, take him for a ride on the normal game and build him pure AP. You'll see what I'm talking about. As a support, you'll be relying on your base damage through the entire game. For this reason, I start with Relic Shield. There are 2 more reasons for this pick. Relic Shield will help you with your self-sustain because of your passive while helping you push the lane at level 1, thus allowing you to reach level 2 faster. After that, you should be looking for your Sightstone, Targons, and level 1 boots. Mid-game, you should be looking for resistances as well as cooldown reduction. Ionian Boots of Lucidity are a good pickup, and you can also get Moby Boots if you want to go for early roams, and they will be powerful. Face of the Mountain is the gold income item you want to have as well, and you may even want to go for the Gauntlets or even Frozen Heart for increased cooldown reduction. Late game items. Plenty of items work with Gragas late game, so I'm just going to name a few. Randuin's Omen, Locket of the Iron Solari, Mikhail's Crucible. You will always have to look at your team and at the enemy team and decide for yourself. These are only a few examples. New items are about to be released as well, so some of them may even work well with Gragas too. We shall see. So what works well with Gragas? In the laning phase, I love having ADCs with strong early games with me. The likes of Graves, Lucian, Draven. These are good examples. Still, Gragas does work with most ADCs, so this shouldn't be something to worry about too much. Let's go over counters. As I've stated, Gragas himself has self-sustained, but he can't sustain a fellow ADC without Relic Shield stacks or Crucible. So I do believe that the best way to deal with Gragas lane is to have something like a Karma or a Morgana in your lane. Zyra can work well too, but immobile champs may have a few issues in the lane after Gragas reaches his level 6 and gets his ultimate. Caitlyn, Lucian, and Ezreal should also be good to take against them, not just because of their range, but also because of their escapes. It makes it a lot harder for Gragas to pick them off with his ult, unless he manages to hit them with Body Slam first. Let's go over playstyle. Level 1, you mostly want to focus on using your relic shield stacks, zoning or poking the enemy ADC away with your barrels and try to reach level 2 faster than your opponents. As soon as you do, level up your body slam, go in, slow him down with your Q, and if everything goes absolutely perfect, you can even burn your summoner spell or get a kill. If you don't, then your next big opening is a level 6. Until then, you can just use your W, go in with body slam, land an auto attack in the barrel, and back off. Be careful with the enemy CC though. Getting caught on a binding or aqua prism when you go in can be really bad, so make sure you wait for your opponents to have those key skills on cooldown. As soon as you're level 6, you can use your body slam plus flash plus ult to engage, ult to disengage in case of ganks, or even to get the last hit on a fleeing enemy in case you absolutely have to. As for roaming as Gragas isn't that hard either, especially when you hit level 6. Body slam is dangerous, and even more so when allied to flash and explosive cask. Your W can also help you dive if you absolutely want to. Gragas excels at roaming and controlling vision over the enemy jungle, so that's something you want to look for as soon as the bot turret is destroyed, or even after the second trip back to the base if your ADC doesn't really need you with him all the time. There's also a ton you can do with Gragas in teamfights. As I've said before, you can use your Q to slow people down and body slam to stun the frontliners if you want to peel. You can also disengage with your ultimate, engage, create pickoffs, but one of the main things that I think most support Gragas players neglect is the ability to create spaces. If you ult the enemy team's backline away from their frontline after they engage on your team, you're giving your carries time they need to kill the enemy bruisers or tanks before proceeding to the enemy carries. This tactic can be invaluable in dragon fights, for instance, and it can help you secure the objective safely. There are a few tricks that you can try to master with Gragas as well. You might already know some of these, but for those of you who don't, I'll lay it down for you. The most basic one is the flash while body slamming. You can extend your ease range and even adjust your trajectory and hit multiple targets and follow it up with explosive cask. You can also use this little trick against one of the most problematic matchups that a Gragas can go against, Morgana. Body slam towards a Morgana. Now, this will require quick reflexes and some practice, but as soon as you notice the black shield, use your flash to adjust your target. So let's say Morgana shields herself. Quickly flash onto the enemy ADC and proceed with the ultimate for the pickoff. If Morgana shields the enemy ADC, you won't even have to flash and you can easily pick her off. Lastly, if she doesn't use the shield at all, you can just proceed with a body slam, wait for it to pop, and then choose the target for your ult once you're in range. Another trick that I already mentioned is the Thresh Lantern block. Gragas' hitbox is so damn big that if you position correctly, your enemies won't be able to click their Thresh's lantern. Just stay in front of the lantern, dance around, or do whatever really. Every time they try to click the shiny beacon of hope, they'll just auto-attack you instead. Or you can just use your ult to throw them away from the lantern altogether. Your choice. Finally, how to invade and ward. As I said, you usually want to get the bottom turret first before you do this. Then go onto the enemy jungle and place your 3 wards. One next to the buff, one next to the mid lane, and the last one behind enemy lines. Have you experienced the frustration of being ahead and having your teammates get picked off over and over? Well, this will help you reduce the probability of that happening. Also, as soon as you control the vision over the enemy jungle, guess who can freely roam to the mid lane without being spotted? Oh yeah. This is it for this video guide, peeps. For more champion guides, quick tips, top 5 supports per patch, patch analysis, you name it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you still haven't done so. Also, Facebook is the page to go to if you want to get in touch with me, or you can also use Twitter for that. My Twitch channel should be your homepage, obviously, and feel free to join me on Raid Call as well. Let me know what champion you'd like me to edit a guide for next, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.